almost 18 years, right, you said? Okay. And I asked her what her most favorite trip was, because over these years, obviously, she's earned a few trips. And she said Germany. And can I tell them why you said that? Just because it was the first time they got away when their kids were smaller, and they were really excited to get away without the kids. You know, now are they all out of the house, or you have one yet at home? Two at home yet. Okay. All right. She is an excellence achiever in both sales and recruiting. And she is an elite seller consistently every month. And she's also a $1 million sales achiever. So Gayle, we're going to have you come on. All right. Expecting a podium to stand on. I'm sorry. Well, we have this tree thing over here. All right. You're all nice anyway, right? You know, when I started about 18 years ago, there was a big emphasis in training on sales techniques, sales principles. And that has still shaped my business today, that I learned those principles and I could apply them. And in recent years, I've just noticed that I don't notice it so much anymore. You hear a lot about the value of the products that you show during a recipe and people getting their hands on, and those, of course, without question, are highly valuable, but there's so much more to it. There's so much more to know about sales, and sales is our business. We need to know how to sell, and we need to teach our consultants, too. We need to teach them more than how to make a recipe and how many products to sell. And so what I'm going to do is go through this sales talk that I've done several times. I'm sorry there's so many in the room that are going to hear it for your fourth time.
I have a handout.
You have a handout that looks like this on the left-hand side of your folder. And so I'm hoping that if you weren't around and have never heard this, that this will be training for your own business, but also it'll give you a structure to start to train your downline. And it takes more than one meeting to do it. It takes a lot of coming back to it to really make it hit home. Okay, question for you. Do our products sell themselves? We hear it all the time. Do our products sell themselves? No. Somebody, they're easy to sell, but somebody sold that person on that product. It was either you or a friend or a family member, or they saw it used or something, but that product did not jump out of the catalog or the order form. Oh, it sold itself. You know, somebody sold it to them. And I'm thrilled to talk to you about one of my favorite topics, which is showing products in such a way that people understand how this will help them on a daily basis and to cause them to want the product badly. That's what I love to do. We want our guests to leave our show not feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad to get out of there, or thank God I could find one thing to buy to help my friend out. I mean, horror, of course. But have you heard of people leaving shows like that? Have you left? Oh, great. Yeah, like that, yeah. Okay. We want people to leave feeling equipped, excited, that they found solutions to their problems, and now they know what they're going to do about this or that, and they can't wait to get the product, they can't wait to have their own show, that kind of thing. And so that's what we want to try to talk about today. Some years back, we remodeled our kitchen, which is expensive enough on its own, and at the end, we got all done, and I had $400 plus money that I was going to decorate our kitchen with, get the rugs, get the fun things that you want to put in the kitchen. And right about that same time, my husband dropped and lost $300 cash. Just, no good reason. It was just gone. Dropped it in the parking lot of the store and it's gone. Then, I have to confess, the same week, I got a speeding ticket. $83, and so there was like $400. My slush money was just gone. My fun money was gone for no good reason. So, of course, I did not buy the fun stuff. I did not buy those rugs for the kitchen. I did not buy those decorations for the kitchen. The same month, our water heater went out, my vacuum cleaner needed to be repaired, and the washing machine died. So, do you think that we repaired or replaced those things, even though we lost the money? Yes. Why? We needed them. Life was too inconvenient without them. And when you show products in such a way that people realize, I'm an inconvenience, and this fixes it, even in a bad economy, people will buy to have their problems solved, even if they won't buy for fun. And there are lots of people with plenty of slush money and plenty of fun money that will buy for fun. And we've all probably had consultants who project their budget on other people and don't realize that person might have 10 times the fun money that you have. You can't assume what kind of fun money those people have. So you show with the intent to sell. And what good selling is helping people find solutions to their problems. And you need to both create the right conditions for that to happen and use sales techniques to make it happen. And the 9 things on your sheet, actually I'm going to add a 10 at the end, are a combination of both. Some have to do with creating conditions, some have to do with the actual techniques themselves. It doesn't really matter, they're all kind of mixed in there together. Now I'm going to give you 2 different styles of showing a product, this one right here, and see if you can tell the difference between the 2. Here's one, and nothing's especially wrong with either one, but I think you'll see a difference. This is our silicone oven mitt. It is heat resistant, waterproof, and there's a quilted lining. I think you'll love it. That's one way to show it, and this is when I asked my team meeting, whoever has showed a product like that, lots of products, lots of hands. Yep, I have done that. Here's another way. This is how I show it in my shows. It is my mission to have every household in the whole world have 2 of these. I have an absolute love affair with this thing right here. And you might think it's pathetic that this poor woman has a love affair with an oven mitt. But let me ask you, how many of you are so proud of how your oven mitts look that you show them to people when they come over? Want to see my oven mitts? Why do you not show them off to people?
They look gross.
They're disgusting. What do they have on them? Food, grease, burn marks. They look awful, and it's embarrassing for people to see it. Anybody ever done this? You're busy, you have people over, somebody offers to get something out of the oven for you, you're like, that's okay. I'll take care of that. This is fantastic because it always looks like this. You don't have to be embarrassed anymore. You get food on it, you just walk over to the sink and just wash your hands, and it's clean. If you touch the oven rack, you don't get a big old stinking burn mark on it. It just always doesn't look like this. And because it's not fuzzy, you can keep it clean, you can touch food directly. Get French bread right out of the oven, get baked potatoes right out of the oven. It's so much safer because it's waterproof. You can put this right down in boiling water. It doesn't melt and you can't feel it. So because of that, anytime you're near water and hot water and steam, it's so much safer. Draining boiled potatoes, canning. You can put this, right, you can get corn on the cob out. I had one customer say she's going to start serving her kids their hot dogs that way. And it's quilted on the inside, so you can stand there forever holding something and you can't feel the heat through it. If you get it messy on the inside, you just throw it in the washing machine and you're done. It comes in red, because red stands for hot, and you're going to look so hot. It comes individually. I like to have 2 because I have 2 hands, so I like to burn either one of them. It's a great gift because everybody's in that same boat. You all said that you hate how your oven mitts look. Everybody would enjoy an oven mitt that always is going to look good indefinitely. Okay, so which one made you want the oven mitt more? I use a lot of these techniques in there, not quite all of them probably, but a lot. And we'll refer back to that demonstration once in a while here. Alrighty. A common question is, do I use, especially if I consult with this, do I use all of these techniques on every product? Well, of course not. It would take too long. You pick and choose what applies the most. Number 1, paint pictures. Painting big pictures helps them transport themselves mentally to something you're describing for them. It causes them to visualize it. Where did I do that in the oven mitt example?
What does your oven mitt look like?
Right. Okay. So you're visualizing, it looks disgusting. Cleaning it, you're visualizing, okay, just go over to this, that kind of thing. That's causing them to paint pictures in their mind. The saying, heat resistant, waterproof with a quilted lining, cause them to picture anything. No. Not unless they really do a conscious effort to think, well, what could the quilted lining possibly mean? And they're not going to do that. They're thinking about what they have to do when they get home. So you have to transport them mentally there. And when you have them there mentally, then you have them picturing the difficulty they're now having, what a team this can be, and then you are the knight in shining armor coming in with the solutions to the problem. I like to use this technique on every product, even if it's a little one, and I talk about it 30 seconds. This is one that I like to use on every product. There's a way to do it, even if it's very, very short, and I'll tell you that in a second. Don't think of this in infomercials. They show you some horrible. I don't watch infomercials much, but I caught one about a pancake dispenser or something. This poor woman was all over the stove. She couldn't warm pancakes. It's everywhere. Yeah, I hate that mess. But you make them picture that. All right. Not only are they more likely to purchase products, but you have their intentions attention. They're enjoying the show because they're mentally participating. It's boring to just hear facts. If they have to actually use their brain to picture things, then they're there with you and they're enjoying it. It's a pleasant experience for them. And they leave happier and are more likely to book a show. An example of how you can do it really fast on a lower priced product would be like the kernel cutter. I usually say something like, oh, this is a kernel cutter. Everybody who uses it loves it. Cuts corn off the cob, whether it's cooked or raw. Hold like this, just go in like this, and those teeth get in and get the whole kernel off instead of having to do 2 swipes like you usually do with a knife. This guard keeps it from flinging all over your glasses and all over the kitchen and making a big mess. You'll love it. You know, it's done. Didn't take very long, but you still there picturing, oh, yeah, she's that's what that is. Okay. 2 is stories. You've heard it said probably that facts tell and stories sell. All people love stories. Stories is a little bit different than painting pictures because it actually has to do with real people and real events on top of picturing things in their mind. You want at least a couple product stories in your demo. 3 or 4 is even nicer. People really like your stories. It helps if they're true. They can be first-person stories of your own story, or research shows that third-party stories are more effective. If you relate a story that is somebody else's story, especially if you use their name. Like I have a story that I use about my sister-in-law, and I've always just said my sister-in-law. But if I say my sister-in-law Diane, and through the rest of the story use Diane, it's much more effective, research shows. They picture her as a real person and they're listening to this testimonial, even though she's not there. An example of a story. One that I use, a first-person story, is the one about my sister-in-law. Deep cover baker, I've already talked about deep cover baker some, and then say, oh, I got to tell you, my sister-in-law from New York is a gourmet cook. Not only is she a gourmet cook, but she's an official barbecue competition judge. She has the license or whatever, qualifications to do this. So guess how I feel when she comes to my house for dinner. Let's go out, shall we? We usually do. The last time they visited, I did a pork loin and deep covered baker. She had 3 pieces, and she kept going on and on and on about how did you get this so moist and so tender? I've never had it like this. I was like, okay. It just felt so good, and that's all it was. Just threw a deep covered baker into the oven. That's all I did differently. So that's an example of a story where we actually relate something that happened. Any questions about stories or painting pictures for that matter? 3 is humor. Vital, of course. Do you remember when I used humor in the oven example? You chuckled a couple times.
Your red will make you look hot.
Red will make you look hot. Mm-hmm.
You have 2 hands. You'd like to cover both of them.
So I'm burning to one of them. Okay. It's pathetic that I have a love affair with an oven mitt, which it really is, but it's true. Humor is vitally important because it makes people feel bonded to you. It breaks down the barrier. They feel like, oh, this is a real person. I can trust them. It's not going to be a boring lecture. They're not going to act like a know-it-all. We're just in this together. It's a fun night, is why it's so important. Always, always use humor at the beginning of your show some way or another, which is a good topic tonight at dinner. It's like, you feel like, I don't have a funny start to my show. What do you do for a funny start to your show? Because it sets the pace right from the beginning. It just sets the environment. They have the expectation, oh, this is going to be a fun night. Suddenly they're perking up instead of thinking, I wonder how long this is going to be. They're suddenly excited about the party. This is something you need to plan into your show with the products, too. It takes time to think through or find what are funny things I can say about this product or that product, this experience, that experience. And if you don't feel like you can come up with it on your own, just watch YouTube videos of other people's parties, and they don't care. That's why they're on YouTube. Borrow their funny lines about different products. And then, of course, you can feel it out. If you try it about 5-10 times and you're just not getting laughs, try something else. It's just not working. Go on. And now, I have this one thing. I can't think what it is right now. I don't think it's funny at all. Every time I say it, people laugh. I guess I'll stay with that one, even though I don't really know why it's funny. Keep going with that one. It can also happen spontaneously during your show. Aren't those some of the fun shows when people are joking with you and it is really fun and fantastic? But a word of caution, Once in a while, you can have somebody with a sense of humor where they love kind of cutting humor, cutting each other down. They enjoy that kind of humor. Don't go there. Don't engage in it. Even if you know that you can make fun of her in a fun way and she would get it and she would love it, there are people there who don't get it, who think you're mean, rude, insensitive, because not everybody has the same sense of humor. So any cutting humor should be directed at yourself or with their permission, your spouse. My honey's husband's like, I don't care if you make fun of me as long as you bring the paycheck home. And not a past guest. I've seen this done at other shows where the consultant will relate a funny story of another guest who said something stupid or thought something or shared something silly or did something silly. Why would you not want to do that?
Because it's in your bathroom, and they could be at another party.
That could be true, or the guest sitting right there thinking, I'm not asking one, I'm not saying one dang thing because she's going to say, a nasty story about me at the next show. Okay, 4. Verbalize their objections before they can do it. Before they can do it. There's tons of training, and that's very vital training of how to respond to objections. And learning how to do that with confidence is vital because you can't help it. You're going to have objections. But the more that you can beat them to, the better. And the less defensive that you feel, the less you're backpedaling and feeling like, you get what you pay for it. You're like, what am I going to say? Which is the most pathetic thing to say. But sometimes you feel like, what else am I going to say? So make them feel like you're inside the head. I did this twice in the oven mitt case. The first one is kind of hard to pick up on, and that's when I said, I realize that normally it's not exciting to think that an oven mitt is something you have love care with. I realize that. Did you notice the other one? It was very planned. Did you catch it? When I said this comes in red, and red stands for hot. So what objection am I beating them to?
They only thought,
Right. Is this how they get the color? Right. So you've got it on the table, it's done for. And whenever you can plan this into your demonstration, you're so much farther ahead, and you feel more confident. Price is the biggie. So with price, for instance, when I'm showing a Santoku knife, as part of the demonstration, I'll say, if you've ever been to Williams-Sonoma to check out high-quality knives, then you'll know this is an excellent price on this knife. Because usually, I used to not know what a good knife cost. I just was ignorant until we had them, and then I started looking into it. I didn't know. So a lot of people don't know what a good knife costs. And that's why they're saying, it's expensive, it's just because they don't know. So if you bring it out ahead of time, then they get it. Another one is cutting yourself with the knife. We've all had that happen probably. When you pick up the knife, you start talking about it, people are like, I cut my finger off with that one. You're thinking, I might as well put this knife down. She just ruined this whole thing, or whatever. But if you have it in your demonstration ahead of time, for instance, what I say is, and as the Boy Scouts teach, it's a lot easier to cut yourself with a dull knife than a good sharp knife, because a dull knife gives and sticks and then gives and does what you don't expect it. A good sharp steel knife obeys you. It goes wherever you tell it to go, so as long as you use your eyes and your fingers are out of the way, you're much safer with a good sharp knife than you are with a dull knife. Then it's already, people are like, well, I need a good sharp knife instead of, anyway. Anytime that you are starting a sentence with, you might be wondering if, or you might be thinking, that is verbalizing an objection before they can do that. For instance, you can say, you might be wondering if it is safe to cook on stones that have not been washed with soap. If you deal with that during your demonstration, you've already headed off and passed. And it increases their confidence in you when they feel like, she knew exactly what I was thinking. For some reason, she's like, wow, I know what you're doing. Five, teach how to use the product. Guests appreciate this so much, don't they? Show them how to hold a knife properly. How do you get the food holder on the mandolin exactly? Give the tip to press down on the top of the blaze in the manual food processor before you throw the food in. Guests just really enjoy teaching how to use the product and various other little tips. The little tip is to use the word tip, not warning. I warned you. I have a little tip for you. Sounds much better than warning. Always way to play. 6 is an easy one, and I think we are the best at number 6. Give some creative or alternative uses to show the product's versatility. Aren't we great at that? We'll tell them, oh, and you can do this with it, and you can do this funny thing, you can scratch your back with this, and you can, all that kind of stuff. We're great at that. I don't think we need to talk about that very long. 7, body language. Can anybody say that without picturing a little mermaid?
Didn't till now.
You're welcome. You got it now for the rest of your life. You'll always feel like you're in the body. It is said that people form their opinion of you in the first 10 seconds. And 90% of that is based on your appearance, which I do not want to be true, but I think it probably is.
Yeah. Will you repeat that?
Yes. People decide their opinion of you in 10 seconds, and 90% of it is based on your appearance. Their initial perception. And I think as once you get to know people, of course that can change over time, but we don't have a lot of time with them. And your initial appearance and your initial impression is very good because they can just turn their head off. It's like, I'm not paying any attention to her. So it's very important to, of course, smile, eye contact when people come in, dress appropriately, have your hair, have your hair done, that type of thing. People will think, well, if she knows how to dress appropriately for this occasion, she knows where to get her hair cut, obviously, then maybe she knows a thing about a kitchen tool or two. It's just good to be put together. Even if you have one outfit that you wear at every single show, if you look put together, then it creates a good first impression. This is the toughest one for me right here. If you want your show to not be boring, the guests have to sense that you're happy to be there. And I'm fine. Once I'm about a minute into the demonstration, I'm happy to be there. I'm enjoying myself. I have trouble from when I walk into the door until I start the demonstration. I'm having to fake it till I make it the whole time because I just want to be home. And some people have trouble at the end. I don't have trouble at the end wanting to get out of there so much. It's just getting going. And I get very sleepy driving late in the afternoon, so I'm usually gone and trying to fake it that I'm happy to be here. But you have to. You have to fake it. And right there, that's when I earn my money for that whole night. It's right there when I get there because that's when I'm really working. Is to make eye contact with people, pretend that you care about their conversation. Or actually involve yourself so that you do care, that's even better. Asking people questions, that type of thing, and getting involved. And eye contact is the biggie. That's what I almost made that my one word, even though it's 2 words, with eye contact. I'm very bad at that. But I changed it. Maybe I'll use that next year. Some important body language, of course, smiling, nodding when somebody's talking. Eye contact with your crowd. And I'm not doing that so well today, I'm trying. But try to break up your eye contact evenly. It's so easy. If somebody's really nodding and interested to just focus on that person because it's a much more pleasant experience for you. And even if somebody looks away or does this when you look at them, still seek to give them their eye contact so that they feel important. Okay. Work from the side of your table. If you are demonstrating up front and not doing an interactive show, I demonstrate from up front. Don't be behind your table. Do it from the side of the table or the front of the table. When you're behind your table, there's a barrier again between you and them. And so it doesn't feel like we're all in this together just learning about some fun stuff. It's like I'm up here and I'm doing some stuff and I'm telling you what's what. That's what it's like when you're behind the table. It's more like a lecture format. But if you're from the side or the front, then you're just like, ooh, let's all look at this together. That's the impression that it gives. When you're making an important point, on purpose, make it a point to lean forward when you say it. So watch this, watch this. This is going to save you so much time versus this is going to save you so much time. And she doesn't even make my voice have more inflection in it, and I didn't mean to, just by leaning forward, it makes you say it with more conviction. This is going to save you so much time. If you want cookware, have a show, that's the way to do it. Instead of, you want cookware. And research shows, too, that when we tend to not feel confident about something we're saying, or really believe something we're saying, which can come in with recruiting, too, not just selling, we back up and we don't even know it. Or that's what I did this talk for Patty's group. One of the consultants said, I did a show last night. There's a mirror across from me, and I can see myself. I was half out of the room by the time. And the people there in the crowd, they sense that you either don't believe what you're saying or you're not confident, and they don't even know why they can tell. It's just their subconscious is reading the body language that you're backing up. So, consciously, if you sense yourself doing this, nope, I'm doing this instead, coming forward. Walk out among your guests as frequently as possible, and this makes you very personable, seem like one of them, like if you want to show them what the onions look like in the food processor, whatever. Whenever you can have an excuse to be out in front of them, or in the midst of them, do that. Number 8, always say everything with positive language. There's a positive way to say everything. And this can apply to so many things, but even in how you talk with your guests, how you talk with your hosts, I always say that there is always going to be gossip about you and how you run your business. It's your job to make sure that everything you do to make sure it's good gossip, not bad gossip. Yeah. It's going to be one or the other, but there's always going to be gossip about you, and do what you can to make it good. And lots of times, I think this is another good table topic, is what do you say, how do you handle it positively when something like this happens? You verbally told the host about the host special, I'm picking something out of the air. You sent it to her an email, you sent it to a flyer with her packet. She says, you never told me about the host special. How do you deal with that positively without getting defensive? Or that happens all the time where they say something is your fault when you know, I did it, it was not my fault. But you can't just say, I did that. That it's going to lead to, she was rude, she was insensitive, and it's going to be bad gossip about you. So you want good gossip, and so that's a good topic for discussion. Do you just swallow it and just smile, or is there a way to assertively stand up for yourself without creating bad gossip?
What's the point?
I'll leave that up to you to decide. I know what I think. I'm a mouse about it. But I think it pays off. You want people saying she was so nice. They'll misunderstand if you stand up for yourself, I think. It will come across. Because they really don't remember you telling them. They really believe that you didn't tell them. So, during the show, too, instead of using the term never, like never use Pam on a nonstick pan. Like, I've got a tip for you. Avoid using, or when you use Pam on your nonstick cookware, this will happen, that type of thing. Just try to use positive language. So what do you say if someone asks if something comes in another color? It's hard to, how do you do that without using a negative word like, nope?
Not yet.
Not this season.
Not yet, not right now, or just, it comes in cranberry, because that seems to be the most popular one right now. But is there a certain color you'd like me to request? Because they always listen to our requests, and if they're enough, they will, that kind of thing. When putting things in print or speaking at a show, there are just some words that are more fun, more inviting than other words. For instance, shop is a much better choice than order. Shopping is fun. Placing an order is not fun. That might be something they have to do at work today. They might have to order inventory today. But shopping is always fun. So for instance, on your invitation, I think I got this from Darla, and I still use it. If you cannot join us at the show, we'll miss you, but you can still join us online to shop, or simply call me with your shopping list. Instead of, if you would like to place an order, which is boring and sounds like a drag of a thing to do. But if you would like to shop online or call me with your shopping list, it just sounds so much more fun. Say, or you're taking orders at the end when you're getting ready to tell them where you will be. Never say, if you would like to place an order. Right? Got people saying all the time because they're trying to imply that I would never assume that you're here to place an order. But like Ann, my consultant, Ann back there, says, you don't go into a restaurant and ask for a menu because you don't plan to order. You know, they're there, they came on purpose, they have a catalog, and they're planning to order. So I just say, I'm going to go cut your dessert, and after that you can find me at the kitchen table, I take cash, check, blah, 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 you know. Don't say if you'd like to place an order. Do not use if when you can use when instead. Never, if you get this baker, it will look great on your table. Just say, this baker is going to look great on your table. A little Post-it note, my catalog parties, I give them a little incentive. If they reach $500 in sales, then I give them a certain little gift to try to get them up to 500 instead of hanging around at 300 or whatever. And on that Post-it, instead of saying, if you reach $500 in sales, it's when you reach $500 in sales, you will continue to blah, blah, blah. 9, cross-selling and selling in multiples. I did this in the other minute. Where did I do this in the other minute? Two hands plus, yes, right, because everybody's in the same boat. And this is what I think people are fairly good at, too. You just have to keep it in front of your mind that you got to remember to do that. Why do people want more than one? And what's cross-selling? Yeah. If you need this, you know, you need this. I'll use Ann as an example, again, because she's great at this. Somebody comes up and they've ordered a microwave egg cooker, she'll just say, Susie, you didn't order the microwave grips. You can't have that without the microwave grips. She'll just, oh, the microwave grips. They do whatever Ann tells them. But things that just go together, which I think you're all experts at. The 10th one that I want to add, I can't believe that I forgot this. Oh, I forgot this because we use it all the time, is testimonials, which are extremely effective. It can be from your crowd when we ask people what they have, what they like about it, share with the group. Or related by you from other people. For instance, I have one. Again, I try to use her name, sometimes I forget. But I have a friend, a frequent customer, who's been such a frequent customer that she's now my friend, Jennifer. She has a bakery in her house, and she called me after she got a manual food processor and said, I've never had anything make my peanut butter dust so well. Peanut butter dust? I think I could snort that. I don't know what that is. Drugs, no thank you, but I think I could snort peanut butter dust and explain what it is. But that, I usually say that towards the end when it's way more than just vegetables and fruit. You can also bake with this, make streusels, make fillings, make frosting, that kind of thing. That's just a testimonial from somebody else that you can pass on. And that's all I have. If you have questions or anything.